The Krion Conquest was released on the NES in 1990. You play as Francesca, a witch with magical powers, but she's like Glinda from Wizard of Oz. This bitch is a good witch, and she's been summoned to kill all the beasts called Krions that are invading her world and restore peace to the land. Speaking of Wizard of Oz, apparently this game was originally designed to be based on the anime, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, but the licensing fell through or something and adjustments had to be made. It's a run-and-gun, side-scrolling platformer, and it's very obviously inspired by the Mega Man games. Not only from the way it looks, the way Francesca runs, the get ready text at the beginning of each stage, the item menu's layout, the broom item being a lot like item 2, but also the use of special weapons and items. These special weapons include the freeze power, which does as its namesake describes and freezes enemies, a kill all enemies on the screen fire attack, a shield which isn't really all that useful at all, a ball which sends bouncy projectiles all over the place, and the broom which lets you ride over pits and spikes and shit. Unlike in Mega Man though, you don't have to defeat any bosses to get these weapons or items. You start out with all of them right away, and you don't have limited ammunition with any of them. You can get as trigger happy as you want. But there are caveats. The fire attack, which summons a phoenix and murders all the enemies on screen, will drain 4 hit points from your health meter, and since you have 10 to start with, that's a tall price. You'll most likely lose less health if you simply just try to plow through whatever's on screen at the time. This really should have been a one use per level type of weapon or some kind of restriction like that, rather than draining your health. And if you don't have enough hit points to pay this troll toll, you can't use the Phoenix at all, and I personally never do anyway. So while there are these caveats with the weapons, you do at least have the ability to fire straight up, and you can crouch, which doesn't shrink your hitbox by much, but it's something. And you can still fire while crouching. However, in the midst of shooting, you can't jump. You have to stop firing and then jump. It doesn't feel natural in a game like this, and while the controls are responsive enough, this kind of bullshit makes it awkward to line up your attacks, especially when there are a lot of enemies on the screen moving very quickly and you're running and jumping around, trying to position yourself as best you can. It really comes off as stiff and clunky. There are 4 worlds, or rounds, as they're called in this game, with 3 stages each, not counting the boss battles at the end of each round, which make up its own mini-level, so altogether there are 12 full levels. The part that sucks, though, is that you have no continues. And there are no checkpoints either, even at the boss battles, which is a real kick in the dick when you reach the boss with 1 hit point. Add in the obstacles mentioned before about the shooting controls, and the general difficulty of the game as it is, not to mention the fact that there are a pretty good amount of cheap trial and error deaths that you'll inevitably run into, then you're going to have a hard time beating this game in one sitting, which is the only way to complete it legitimately. Every once in a while, you'll find an extra life or a health boost, and sometimes a defeated enemy will drop some health. As tedious as it may be, it helps to stop at a respawning enemy's location to farm up. I wouldn't go so far as to call this a bad game. On its own merits, it's fair, but it does have a series of flaws, not to mention the unashamed lack of originality. I mean, it tries to emulate Mega Man in so many ways and falls short in every single one of them. Not that I expect it to match up or anything, it all just makes me want to play Mega Man instead. The game starts out with a cutscene going over the plot, and you're off to the races. You'll meet spring guys that bounce around, kill them, and after you drop down here, use the ball to kick this guy in the nook. It might take a few seconds to get lined up right, but as long as you stay back here, you're fine. These little guys fly around overhead and try to zip down at you. You can shoot them from underneath, just make sure to fire constantly as they cross over you so you don't get tagged, or you can quickly run past them so you can get up on these platforms to level off with them and take them out. And you'll want to shoot him when he's crossing over you the first time, because when he comes back is when he starts swooping down. Then you've got this armored dude that fires off a shot at a time. Slip down when there's an opening, jump over his shots, and wipe him out. The Mega Man influence continues to be strong as you've got these Met-influenced guys that are shielded up until you get close, and then they fire off 2 diagonal shots. So bait them into firing, back up when they shoot, and take them out. Wipe out all these schmucks that fly overhead, use the broom to get up here, and you're on to the next segment. Early on, you'll run into the seemingly impassable area unless you know that you can change direction with the broom in mid-flight. Weave your way through carefully, make sure you don't make contact with the edges or you'll drop. Then you'll need the broom to get over a pit, and up this way after dealing with some familiar enemies, and kill this prick as you fly toward the ledge. When you drop down here, this armored dude is behind a barricade. Use the ball to reach him, and same with the Met wannabe up here. In the home stretch, you've got these jet fucks that dart across the room as you're trying to pass over some jumps with spikes underneath. Stop to avoid or shoot these guys when you see them, and when you get to the edge of a platform, wait to make sure the area is clear of them or these other flying guys, and the end of the segment is right after. The third one starts off with these burners that send off a flame intermittently. Wait for the opening and pass through, or use your freeze gun to temporarily freeze the flames before you go. Use the broom to get over this pit, blasting these dickheads in the process, and you'll come across a massive gumball machine that spits out these little projectiles that glide across the ground. Simply jump over these things, and then you'll run into these star guys that attack in packs of 3. They'll surround you from 3 different directions and all move to the opposite direction at the same time. So get ahead of them when they first appear, and jump over or get under the one moving horizontally, or you can shoot them, but since they move fast, you won't be able to take them all out. Then you'll encounter this boomerang guy. As you might have guessed, his weapon comes sailing back to him, so you'll need to jump twice during each of his attacks, while firing after you land. After a field of spikes and some more of these flying zigzag things, you'll be able to get an extra life if you drift across during this drop and use the broom to get up here. Just watch the stars above. You don't want them to end your broom ride and send you into the spikes. An extra life isn't worth dying over. Soon after, you'll get to the end and you'll battle the boss, Thunder Knight. You get a very important data file from your friends. From your friends, what? This apostrophe means it's possessive, whatever. They also send a personalized good luck message. Thanks. A stream of energy will shoot across the screen or come up out of the ground in an arc pattern down below. You want to get low when the top one fires, and vice versa. Thunder Knight appears in between all that shit in these little closed off areas, and fires off a very quick 6 projectile spread shot. Reacting to it is nearly impossible unless you get yourself too far away to even attack him, which defeats the purpose. But as long as you stand on the far edge of the platform on the opposite side of him, you're fine. And you can use the ball to actually reach him. The fact that cheesing the game is basically required is a pretty weak design. Either you're frustrated trying to figure it out, or you just simply know where to stand completely still, and it's not fun either way. Dodging the streams is something else altogether though. They seem to come at random patterns, so keep focused and try to react accordingly. After taking them out, you're done with the first full level. First thing about this next level is the icy terrain. As is the case with ice levels more often than not, your traction isn't great and you can slide, so watch your footing, especially near edges. You'll start out with these fish out of water type things that flop around. Simply shoot them from a distance and take out the overhead dipshits. Then you'll meet this buzzsaw on the ceiling that moves from one side to the other, duck down when he gets close, and then move on. Then you'll fight this tall fuck, shoot the head, and watch out for its periodic attacks. Use the broom to get past this pit of spikes, and stay high to avoid all this flying crap. Take the broom up these next 2 screens, kill the armored dudes that stand in your way, and make sure this Met wannabe is dead before you head down this corner for some health so you don't get hit with the Met's attacks from a distance. Then take the broom up into this nook for an extra life, use the small platform down here on your way back out, and 1 boomerang guy later, you're done with the segment. You'll start segment 2 with a series of platforms over a wide open bottomless pit and a whole bunch of shit to deal with on narrow platforms. So this is a great place to just say fuck it and ride the broom. When you get here, wait for the orb to get out of your way before proceeding. Take the broom across the way to get to this platform so you can wait for the opening, then proceed down. Use the broom to get into this nook for some health, and then again right after for an extra life when the orb is out of the way. Then you'll meet up with this tank that fires off a drill, jump over it and fire your ball into the gap, targeting the light at the top. After several hits, he's done for and the segment is over, so it's basically a mini boss. After dealing with some stars and zigzag guys, there's a health power up here if you need it. Then you'll have some boomerang guys, one of which you'll fight from a small platform over spikes, so watch your footing. Wait for the opening here between the pair of orbs. There's a gap that's a little bit bigger on one side. Go through when it presents itself. Then duck under the first orb and hop onto this platform when it's safe, and wait for the opening when both orbs are out of the way before dropping. Then you'll fight another of these tall fucks. Kill him with the ball from up here, and then take the broom across the spikes, firing at the flying bastards that dart across the room, and right after it's the boss, Yukimaru. And your friends give you some sage advice: fight. Wow, I never thought of that. The pre-match display of balls bouncing all over the screen is an indicator that there's gonna be a lot of fast-moving projectiles that you'll need to dodge. He'll hang out in the upper corner of the room, which is when you can unleash your balls on him. And then he'll morph into a series of his own balls and come after you with two conglomerates at once. One of them is this broken circle pattern with small gaps you have a chance to jump through if you time it right. But what makes it a pain in the ass is the fact that this snake made of balls is bouncing all over the room. If you can manage to time your escape between the two and get over to the wall where the ball snake won't reach you, then you'll be able to minimize your damage in between your attacks on this fucker with your balls. After finishing him off, you're on to the next level and halfway through the game. Stage 3 starts off with a wide open drop with spikes at the bottom. Steer yourself to land on the small platform or hug the wall to slip into the gap and move on. You'll land in the water, and it's important to note that when you're submerged, you have an oxygen meter that steadily depletes until you reach the surface. This isn't Sonic the Hedgehog where you get air bubbles. Your only respite is to get out of the water. So you're naturally gonna have a sense of urgency to get through this shit as quick as you can, although you don't die as soon as you run out of oxygen. Instead, your health meter starts draining, which could buy you a few seconds that you might need. So yeah, you do want to find an air pocket as fast as you can, but don't die as a result of rushing it. Move along briskly, but stop at the edges to make sure none of these guys are flying across right as you jump. You get to a pocket with a machine above that fires lasers all over the place. As crazy as it looks, the lasers do follow a consistent pattern, plus there's a safety zone directly underneath it, so make that the target, and only use the laser areas as your air supply if you're about to drown. Take a breath at every pocket you come across, and if you stop to kill something and there's a pocket on the screen, take a breath before you move on. After another stretch of similar enemies, you'll hit the end of the segment. As a reminder, you're already underwater when you start the next segment, so keep an eye on the oxygen meter and watch these jamokes that come out of the ground and then fire horizontally. Jump over them while you're fending off all this shit. Take a breath and then take your broom across here. Just be careful when getting back on land. It's a short gap between the spikes. Also be careful on these tiny platforms while everything is coming at you at once. Shoot at anything that moves, but the emphasis is on getting your ass out of here, so don't dilly-dally. When you drop down here, hug the wall so you can sneak into this platform and take the broom up here for some health if you need it. And then you'll hit the home stretch of some of these guys before hitting the end of the segment. The next segment has a stretch of zigzag fish, these jet fucks, and this mussel that lunges out to take a bite of you. Keep your distance and shoot him down. Then you'll fight an armored dude blocked by a barrier with a Met wannabe on top. Much like earlier in the game, but now you're underwater, so time is of the essence, even if you have to force your way through and take damage as a last resort. There is a pocket with a laser gun right after that to cushion the blow. Then you'll need the broom to pass through this very narrow spiked corridor. Careful lining yourself up, and you'll be able to get some air right after. After another short stretch of fish and whatnot, you'll hit the end of the segment, and it's on to the boss battle with the Aqua Knight. Your friends tell you, look alive there. Excellent, thanks for the support. Much like earlier, knowing where to stand is your saving grace. He'll hang out in the upper corner for a bit. That's when you want to unleash your balls at him. And when he shields himself up and drifts down, that's when he's going to send some missiles. But as long as you stay close to him on the far end, you're golden. They'll just bypass you. He'll dash across the screen, give yourself some distance to maximize your reaction time, and jump over him. Keeping in mind that he'll line himself up wherever you're standing at the time that he's about to attack, so you can always lure him up higher if you want to just stay at the ground. He'll repeat the process from here, so do the same, and after finishing him off, you'll move on to the fourth and final level. You start off on a skyscraper, and it looks as though you need to drop down, as you did in the beginning of the last stage, But alas, it's the opposite this time, and you probably won't discover that until you fall to your death. So grab the broom, fly upwards, and make a pit stop on the next screen to get some health. You'll encounter a boomerang guy, get on the opposite platform to fight him, or just bypass him altogether and go up the right side. Weave your way between the spikes, and you'll get another boomerang man, this time go up left, and grab the extra life here past the spikes. Continue upward, and now you've got stars and zigzag things over this pit of spikes. Time you jump across the platform so you don't get caught up by any of this shit, and wipe out the zigzag guys when you get onto this platform here. You won't be back on land for long, because you'll need to fly up here to encounter the clampy guy guarding the exit to the segment. It tries to lure you in and crush you, so simply fire at him on your way up to wipe him out on your way to the next segment. After a brief stint on land fighting some zigzag guys, you'll have to get back on the broom to take to the air again, shooting down some more of these fucks. Stop here, kill off whatever is still in your way, and head up here for a 1-up. Then you've got a couple boomerang guys before you're flying high again, this time with one of these tall boys. Don't even bother fighting him, just go around, take out another clampy guy, and then you're back on land again. Here you'll deal with these flying things that will fly above you, drop a projectile, and then swoop around to try to catch you from the other side. Wait and dodge the attack at the last second, and be ready to jump immediately after, or you can shoot them down right as they level off with you, and the exit to the final segment is up this way. It starts off with some boomerang guys and a whole bunch of these pricks before you're back on the broom and heading up. Maneuver your way between the spikes, and watch out for the stars that appear. Move yourself accordingly, but watch the spikes. Take yourself up here. This isn't a fork. The top route has Met wannabes, and the low route has a spike pit patrolled by zigzag guys, a boomerang man, and a fucking dead end. What deception, because usually games will reward you for taking the more dangerous route in a split like that. Not this time. So then you get these guns that fire straight down from the ceiling. Time your launch from the broom so that you pass through the opening, and stop on this small platform because there's another gun right after. Kill off oncoming zigzag guys while you're here, and time your broom launch again to get by, and the exit to the segment is right after, and it's onto the boss fight with this ugly ass ship called Skyhawk. The message you get from your friends reads, "Here goes." Enlightening as always, guys. He'll send missiles that travel slow, but then when they level off with you, they'll fly across the screen. Thankfully, he sends these one at a time so you can concentrate on your timing while firing the ball at the light on top of his head, for lack of a better word. Then it'll fire off a projectile that not only moves fast, but it bounces back and keeps refiring. Stay in the corner to maximize your reaction time, and jump straight up as it fires to let it pass under you. Keep unloading your balls on him until he's destroyed, and you're done with round 4. But you do get one final stage that's just a short walk to the boss battle. This whole sequence of a surprise level that takes you right to the final boss after you thought you initially beat the game is not at all reminiscent of Mega Man, is it? You'll face off with this large version of one of the boomerang guys, and he basically just keeps moving, bouncing from one platform to another while sending 3 projectile spread shots your way. Weave your way between them and fire at him when he's in front of you. Keep in mind, these attacks may be coming from overhead. Once you finish him off, you'll get thrown into one more battle. It's you against you. Once again, this is a basic pattern. She'll fire off a shot at a time before teleporting to another platform or down on the floor. Stay under the middle platform because she won't reach you when she's up top. She'll just fire a bullet that bounces away. When she's level with you, she'll send a magic wave or something. Get out from under the center platform, jump over her attack, and shoot at her, preferably with a charged up shot. After taking her out, you'll get one more fight. I swear this is it this time. Some massive robot lady throws fireballs at you, which only come at you one at a time, but they do move fast, so your reflexes have to be good, not to mention you only have 3 narrow platforms to work with. Does this sound familiar? There are 3 points of attack, her head and each of her 2 shoulders. She'll move around a little bit, but this is mainly to make you adjust your aiming. She won't charge at you or anything. Her one attack is the fireball. Stay on the far left platform so you have more time to react. Use the ball to hit the high targets, and the normal attack on the lower targets. Although that sounds simple enough, it's easier said than done, especially with the small platforms and the fire that takes a lot of damage off your health meter. When it's over, you get a congratulations and the credits roll. Not even a cutscene of any kind, which is disappointing because they had a well put together scene in the intro. But we get what we get. And this was all we'd get from the franchise. There was a planned sequel, but it fell through the cracks, although there would be a mobile version released in 2004. Other than that, this was essentially a one and done. And that wraps up this edition of Aqualung's Game Reviews. See you next time.